up, guys? Eric and Jenna here at driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holders. First of all, beard progress. There's progress.
It's very beardy.
Jenna will continue to make fun of it, probably. But there is progress. So, back to beard, go back a few videos, watch that. I'm going to put the link in the description below for the GoFundMe. It is for a good cause. We've raised about $250 of the $1,000. So if you can chip in $5, $10, whatever you can afford, it's going to go to charity in March. So there's like 20 of us that are growing beards from now through March. So back to beard. Check it out. Anyway, I had good sleep this morning. I punked out. I told Jenna last night that when she went to bed, I was like, because I was driving, said I'm going to get to the other side of Indianapolis.
If I'm disciplined.
Yeah, if I'm really disciplined, I should get to the other side of Indianapolis. And then she wakes up and she's at a way station at the Indiana border. So I didn't get that far.
So I had to do Indianapolis at rush hour.
But what happened is I ended up being disciplined because
you're tired.
Started getting a little tired, and I'm like, nah, I'll just. You guys know eastbound, that way station on a 70 right into Indiana has a ton of parking, nice quiet parking. So, but I did get a lot of good sleep, and I've been trying to put this plan together for this pre-plan, which you can't really talk about. It's Fight Club load, but I'm just kind of trying to plan this trip and figure, well, we can get to this receiver 2 hours early. We've been here before. The last time it was right into a door and they unload it really fast. This is like organic lettuce or spinach or something like that. So it can't, like, they want it off the trailer as soon as possible, you know. And so I'm trying to trip plan based on that knowledge, because our pre-plan is supposed to already have been picked up. Now it is a drop and hook with a, you know, it's got, I mean, we can go pick it up whenever, but obviously the later we go to pick it up, the more crunched we get to its 90. So my whole trip plan is kind of about to be, in trucking terms, we'll say, reworked. So that's a little frustrating, but it is what it is. You know, everybody says trip plan. Well, we do trip plan, but you also have to know that trip plan can be tripped up, and often does. So you got to have contingency plans, and that's what I'm going to start working on right now. But anyway, I said yesterday that I was going to talk about, I know that reefer's loud back there, it's produce, so it's just going to run the whole time. I said yesterday I was going to talk about some of the changes that you have when you own a private fleet, small fleet with Prime Inc. Of course, ours is only 2 trucks for now, but it is a fleet now. So the biggest change that happens in your app is you have access to all the details of your fleet. So I have both trucks. I can see the loads for both trucks. I can see all the details for the loads for both trucks, maintenance schedules for both trucks, things of that nature. I can see the fuel for both trucks, where the fuel standings are, what the, you know, cost per mile is, all that good stuff. I can also see exactly where the truck is at any given moment. And I mean, like, highly detailed. I could see where both of my trucks were parked at Prime the other day, like to the spot. So it's extremely highly detailed location services that are on both trucks. I can see my driver and his code, which is Brad, Country Trucker Brad, and I can see his hours of service. So, and all of his, and his status, where, you know, see where he's at, if he's sleeping, if he's driving, if he's on duty, if he's off duty, all that good stuff. So it puts a lot of information at your fingertips for all your trucks. For me, for both of my trucks. So if you have a second, third, fourth, fifth truck, it's not going to be really a mystery as to what loads that truck is running and where its progress is or anything like that. You're gonna know every detail about that truck and the freight that it's running and who's driving it and the progress. Which I'm not really worried about it. Brad's a good driver. He knows how to run a truck. He'll be just fine. I don't need to worry about him. But it is good to have. It is good just to just in case. Because I would imagine once our fleet expands, you kind of want to, you're gonna want to know what's going on and where the trucks are and how, because there's a lot of responsibility and there's much less room for error, and there's already not room for error when you're running just one truck. So there is even less room for error when you're running two trucks. There's just a lot of responsibility. You've got a substantial financial obligation with every truck that you add. So it's just good to have that information at your fingertips. Now as far as load choice, that second truck, I was earlier led to believe that it would be on it. It is not. I will be having a conversation with my fleet manager about it, but we'll see how it goes. My main thing is, I don't think that Brad and I really are going to need to be that involved in trying to manipulate and manage loads. I don't think. But one thing that I am going to watch closely on is I just don't want that truck running northwest all the time. And when he was a solo driver company, they just kept him in the northwest all the time, and it was just always problems. And I just don't want that truck running up there all the time. I want it to come back this way, come back towards the Midwest. So that's an area where, that's the only area that I really see myself having to get involved, is if sales is going to try to keep that truck up northwest, and there's going to be some conversations about it. That truck is not forced dispatch, so I can still say no, I don't want that load on that truck. And there may be some pushback on that, and that's fine. I know how to push when I get pushed. But I think generally, and I hope that the truck is going to be dispatched pretty well. But time will tell. But it's obviously way too early to kind of report to you guys. It's probably going to let it run through the holidays before I can really start to give you a look at kind of the gross. I'm not going to walk you guys through profits or anything like that, or what Brad makes, because that's between us and him. But I do want to talk to you about gross revenues for the two trucks, total miles, stuff like that. But I just got to let it, it's got to build up and accumulate it for a couple months. He's running his first load right now. So there's not really anything to report. He's got a load that's not great at all. But he already had a family thing that he had told me about like 2 months ago, that he's got to get to. So that's the only reason that we picked the load that he's on right now, going to Denver, because he's got to get going in that direction. I would not have taken that load at all for that truck off of Springfield if he didn't need to get to where he's going. So anyway, but again, if you guys are considering Prime or interested, it's fascinating that this is a possibility. If you go back to our early videos, when I first started with Prime, I was just going to come be a company driver, and only for a year. That was as broad as my plans and ambitions were for Prime Inc. And now, almost 3 years into it, we literally, before I started filming this, Jenna was kind of commenting on some very initial discussion about a third truck. That's crazy. It's just wild that in 3 years, we're talking about running, we're kind of pre-planning running a third truck in a fleet of trucks that we're buying, which is really, really amazing. So there's a lot of opportunity, really neat stuff. So, but anyway, in answer to the question, are you able to track the truck, track the loads? Yes, you get there's extra stuff that comes in the app when you're running a fleet, and it's very helpful, very useful information. So anyway, we're going to try to get unloaded here and switch over to me. Maybe now I got to rethink this whole thing, because this is not going as smoothly as I'd hoped, which is not going to make Jenna happy. I was going to do some solar powered driving today, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Last time they unloaded us in like 30 minutes, right? It was fast.
Yeah, it was really fast.
So if they can unload us that fast again, we'll be able to stick with our initial plan. But, what's the saying? You always have a good plan until you get punched in the face. Is that what it is?
I don't know, but that sounds like trucking.
So you can always have a good plan until you get punched in the face, or something like that. So anyway, all right, guys, be safe, make good decisions, always drive to thrive. Check in with you soon.